Please raise your right hand. Forklift operator Jon Thompson is suing his former neighbor for damage to his truck. Defendant Ashley Hauk says it was an accident.
Sir, you're suing someone who I take it at one time was one of your neighbors.
That's correct, Your Honor.
It appears from your allegations that she left a vehicle unattended and improperly secured, and that vehicle wound up rolling down an incline and struck your new Ford F-150.
That's correct.
Tell me about it, sir.
On November 24th, 2007, I was awoken by my wife, who said that our neighbor had backed into my pickup truck. I immediately just rose up, ran outside to see what damage had been done. After looking at the damage that was done, I immediately thought calling the police, making a police report. After the police were there, Ashley soon had showed up. She wasn't there at the time they first had arrived. She did show up, and then they looked at the damage to the vehicle, and police report was issued, and we both went on our way. I filed a claim with my insurance company and immediately had my brand new pickup truck fixed.
All right. And you have a $500 deductible that you want to recover. Let me see what you have there. All right, we will go to the defendant. What do you have to say?
Well, I had just purchased the vehicle the night before. I was leaving to go to work in the morning, the 24th, and I realized when I was getting ready to leave that I forgot my work ID in the house and I needed to go get it. When I stepped back down my stairs, I heard a click and I looked up and my vehicle was actually putting itself in reverse. I found out later I had a faulty linkage.
Well, how do you have a faulty linkage that gets the vehicle from park to reverse?
The linkage was loose from the way that I understood it when I went and got it fixed. They said that it was loose and that's how it had put itself into reverse. It was
put itself in reverse. What about the parking brake?
The parking brake didn't work. It was an old vehicle that needed work. No, it did not.
What about turning the engine off?
I didn't think that it would run itself.
How old are
into
you?
the first car. 23.
Ah.
But I did chase it down and I tried to stop it, and instead I slipped and ended up running over the side of my foot and hurting my back, and I had to go to the hospital, which is why I came back.
That's what happens, but that's not his concern. He's worried about his new Ford F-150.
We'll be back with more Judge Joe Brown in a moment.
I knocked on their door for quite some time, finally got somebody to wake up, which was his wife. She came outside, I showed her what happened, I was hysterical, she held me and said it's okay. I was scared at what had just happened and I was hurt.
Well, you don't get hysterical, that doesn't help anything.
Closed captioning sponsored by...
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says his wife woke him early one morning to say the neighbor's Blazer had rolled into his truck. He says the defendant agreed to pay his insurance deductible and never did. Let's look.
You have to accept the consequences of your actions, and then you're mad at him because he had you cited for not having insurance. What if it had been somebody's toddler running through the trailer park that got run over?
As a parent, I wouldn't want to think about that.
Well, you should, because the negligence issue is, was it foreseeable? And it's definitely foreseeable that if you operate a vehicle with no effective parking brake or emergency brake, you're not familiar with it, leave the engine running, and a vehicle unattended on an incline, such things are likely to happen. And now, what happened, by the way, after you got run over?
Well, I parked my vehicle back in my driveway and turned it off.
After you got run over?
Yes. And I went
That's
and knocked
when it
on
ran
the door.
over your foot?
Yeah, it just pinched the side of my foot.
Oh, well, that's good.
I went and knocked on their door for quite some time. Finally got somebody to wake up.
After you talked to her, right?
This was before I talked to her.
Before you talked to her?
I knocked on their door for quite some time. Finally got somebody to wake up, which was his wife. She came outside. I showed her what happened. I was hysterical. She held me and said it's okay. I was scared at what had just happened and I was hurt.
Well, you don't get hysterical. That doesn't help anything. Stay cool, calm, collected, and under self-control. Things go better that way.
And she put her arms around me and hugged me and told me it was okay to calm down. She didn't really see the damage at first, and I pointed it out to her. And she said, don't worry about anything. I'll talk to my husband. He's not as bad as everybody makes him seem.
But it didn't mean that I said she didn't have to pay.
Oh, no, wait. She's trying to calm you down.
Right.
You're
So then I went on.
hysterical.
She said, no, nothing needed, no reports need to be made or anything. So then I went ahead and went to leave to go to work and realized that I was hurt, so I came back so that I can go to the hospital. And when I did is when the police were there.
And what happened when you got to the hospital?
They did x-rays on my back, and
And what was the extent of your injuries?
they said pretty much whiplash.
Now, who's responsible for that?
That was my fault for falling, for running after my vehicle.
No, that's your fault for the negligence, the lack of foresight, the lack of exercising responsibility, discretion, and paying proper attention to what your circumstances were. You caused that injury to yourself.
Judge Joe Brown makes his ruling after this.
Did a loser leave you in debt? Call 877-JOE'S-LAW or visit JudgeJoeBrown.com.
Hysteria is not good.
When I was trying to calm her down and told her that it'd be not to worry about it, I meant at that point in time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it, not
Nobody's
that she
gonna-
didn't have to pay us.
Nobody's going to come out and take a baseball bat to her. Now, lesson learned. Don't panic. Pay attention. And you have absolutely no defense. So you'll get your $500 and your court cost at the end of lecture.
Thanks, Judge Joe Brown.
Very good.
This courtroom is now in recess. Hold on one second.
The defendant in this case apparently felt like she had suffered enough after trying to run her car down and getting run over herself in the process. It's painful but true. The judge says her journey does not end there. She's going to have to pay the plaintiff. We'll be right back.
Next on Judge Joe Brown.
He started shooting at me.
Bam, bam, bam. Give me a break. If you don't report it to the police because you weren't there.
I was there. You wasn't there.
Bad Girls, next Joe.
We're back. The defendant says when the shock of what happened wore off, she realized she was hurt while trying to stop her rolling vehicle. The judge says, unfortunately, she created the whole debacle by leaving the car running. She's going to have to pay the plaintiff.
For information on future cases, check out our website at judgejoebrown.com.